I think the fake news media back there is starting to get it, folks. Your 401ks. I stand up all the time with great Americans. Sir, I'd like to thank you. My wife thinks I'm one of the greatest investors in the world. And 2 years ago, she thought I was a total loser, sir. Now she loves me so much. Because my 401k has gone up 55%, sir, since you got elected. 55%. But it's all fragile. The Democrats will open our borders to deadly drugs and ruthless gangs. The Democrats, and I say this, and I've dealt with it, the Democrats are the party of crime, and that's what it is. They're the party of crime. Radical Democrats want to tear down our laws, tear down our institutions in pursuit of power, demolish our prosperity in the name of socialism and probably worse, and abolish our borders in the service of globalism. There is nothing Democrats aren't willing to do, and you're seeing it day by day, and you've seen it more in the last week than you've ever seen it before. And no one, just think of this, no one under any circumstances is allowed to speak up if you're on this side of the equation. But guess what? We're speaking up like nobody has ever spoken up before. They want to get the power that they so desperately crave that was taken away from them. All of the Democrats know, and all they really know how to do is obstruct, resist, demolish, destroy, and delay. They've been trying to destroy Judge Kavanaugh since the very first second he was announced. Because they know Judge Kavanaugh will follow the Constitution as written. You know, for 10 years, I don't know him, I never met him, but I've been hearing there's this guy named Brett Kavanaugh, who is like a perfect person, who's destined for the Supreme Court. I've heard that for a long time. And a lot of smart people. And first in his class at Yale, top in his class at Yale Law School. He's led like a life that's unbelievable. He's had no problems. They've never taken him out of restaurants. They've never done. This is like a person that everybody thought at the highest level on both sides. They said someday he will be a Supreme Court judge. Right? But I have to tell you, the appointment of a Supreme Court justice, and I looked at him, and I looked at the man that we appointed just before him, Justice Neil Gorsuch. Who was put through the paces, but nothing like what's happening now is just crazy. It's crazy. What's happening now, they had gang rape many times. Well, that turned out to be false. So many different charges. Guilty until proven innocent. That's very dangerous for our country. What he's going through, 36 years ago, this happened. I had one beer, right? I had one beer. Well, you think it was, nope, it was one beer. Oh, good. How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember. How many years ago was it? I don't know. I don't know. What neighborhood was it in? I don't know. Where's the house? I don't know. Upstairs, downstairs, where was it? I don't know. But I had one beer. That's the only thing I remember. And then you see the people that are doing it. I know everyone. I could tell you things about every one of them. He actually gave up the race. He thought he lost. You remember that? He sort of gave you, stopped campaigning. It was over. And then he won by 3 points. And we have him in the Senate. And now he's this great honorable guy. Because you know why? The fake news doesn't ever want to put that stuff on. They don't want to talk about it. They don't ever want to put it on. They're a bunch of fakers. And then you have Cory Booker, right? Cory. Here's a guy who destroyed, practically by himself, the city of Newark, New Jersey. He was such a bad man. And see what he wrote himself about women. Check it out, folks. Check it out. Then he talks, how dare you treat a woman like that? Take a look at what this guy wrote. And I know about every one of them. I could go on and on. How about Feinstein? How about her? We need more time for the FBI. The FBI has to do a more thorough search. We had another woman just reported by a sleazebag lawyer named Abiate. Sleazebag. Sleazebag. We have, well, it turned out, even NBC, who's as bad as they get, even NBC couldn't shield her with that interview. Did you see that interview? This woman had no clue what was going on. No clue. And yet she made the most horrible charges against a #1 in his class at Yale, perfect human being, great father, great husband. This is a great person. And people are saying, well, maybe it's true. Mom, a terrible thing just happened. A person who I've never met said that I did things that were horrible. And they're firing me from my job, Mom. I don't know what to do. Mom, what do I do? What do I do, Mom? And we better start as a country getting smart and getting tough and not letting that stuff right back there, all those cameras, tell us how to live our lives. Because they are really dishonest people. Not all of them, but damn well most of them, that I can tell you. Until the last couple of weeks, because they're destroying him and they're destroying his reputation, and we can't let that happen. We can't. Biden, the guy never had more than 1% in a poll when he was running for president, and then Obama took him off the trash heap, right? Biden, I hear Biden wants to take me to the back of a barn. He would be in big trouble, I will tell you. Remember he said that? I'd like to take him. You know, with Biden, you go like this, and he goes down. Our country is doing so well, and then we have a Maxine Waters saying we have to get rid of him. We have to get rid of him. Maxine Waters. And Nancy Pelosi, she's another beauty. And don't worry, we'll be on the ballot in 2 years, and we will do a landslide like you wouldn't believe. A couple of the reporters I see back there, they said, oh, Trump is running. And I must say, one of them said, right after I announced, June 16th, right after I announced, there was a Sunday morning show. And one of them said, you know he's going to win, don't you? And another one who's back there now, who's looking very well, said, along with the host, oh, ho, 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 ho. You're only kidding. He's just doing this for fun. You think this is fun? Yeah, actually, it's sort of fun. Yes, it is. For me, it's fun. For me, it's fun. You know why it's fun? Because we're achieving our goals better than anyone thought possible. That's why it's fun. If I wasn't, it wouldn't be fun. But this one particular reporter, she said, ho, 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 you're only kidding, right? Ha, that's so funny. And I'll never forget, on election night, Donald Trump is your next president, folks. And it's driving them crazy. You think this is a big crowd in here. This place is packed, right? Right to... And if there was one empty seat, they would say, as the Washington Post did say, the Washington Post came, you saw that, right? Came to an arena someplace 4 hours early, and they hadn't started letting the people in there. And he put a picture of an empty arena. There were tens of thousands of people outside waiting to come in. The Washington Post put a picture of an empty arena, and they put a caption to the effect, "Mr. President, not a very good crowd, is it?" And you know what happened? And they had a picture up of an empty arena like I didn't even land for 4.5 hours later. And when I landed, that place was just like this. It was packed with thousands of people outside. Now, did they fire that reporter? No. Did they fire that reporter? No. Right? Isn't it sad? And look what happened to Roseanne. Did they fire Roseanne? Yes. No, but think of it. Puts a picture of an empty, like it had 5%. People were just starting to trickle in. And said, "Not a very good crowd, Mr. President." There was no games. You know what happened that night? People that were sitting on stairwells. People that couldn't get a seat. People that were here only because the fire marshals were so incredible that shouldn't have even been allowed to come in, with thousands outside. They said, "This is a fraud by the Washington Post." I was there. There were no empty seats. We set a record that evening for crowd attendance because we don't need much of a stage. Basketball, they need a big, you're filled up with people like it is tonight. And we barely got an apology. And he admitted he was wrong. You know where he did it? On his little Twitter account. And that kind of dishonesty happens all the time. Happened at the inauguration. It happened at the inauguration. It happens all the time. These are very, very dishonest people. We are thrilled. There's another warrior in the room. These are warriors. Look, the abuse they take, the abuse we all take. If you're not a warrior, you just go home, go to the corner, put your thumb in your mouth, and say, "Mommy, take me home." You got to be a warrior.
It is such an honor to work with a man that I tell you, he loves the veterans, he loves the military, and he loves our law enforcement as well. You know, this past week in Brookhaven, Mississippi, my hometown, we had 2 officers shot down this past weekend, and I was able to tell him about that. James White and Zach Moak, and then the next day we had a Mississippi Highway Patrol trooper, Josh Smith, shot down. And I'm just going to ask you to remember those people in your prayers as we continue on with this. We've had a tragic week in Mississippi with our law enforcement, but this man supports law enforcement 100%. We're going to get back on Air Force One, and we're going back to Washington because you know what? We've got a Supreme Court justice to get confirmed.
And a vote for Cindy's opponent, Mike Espy, is a vote for Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and the legendary low IQ person, Maxine Waters. That's why Schumer's PAC is funding Mike Espy with a lot of money. A vote for Espy is a vote for the Democrat agenda to open borders and for radical socialism. When Espy was in Congress, he even sponsored legislation alongside Nancy Pelosi to provide taxpayer-funded health care to illegal aliens. So that's good. That's just what Mississippi wants. I don't think that works in Mississippi. Does that work? I don't think so. I don't think so. Your vote in this election will decide which party controls the United States Senate. Very important. Very important. And that's a great woman. That's a great woman. Gotten to know her very well over the last number of months. If Democrats get control, they will raise your taxes, flood your streets with criminal aliens, weaken our military, outlaw private health insurance, and replace freedom with socialism. In a short period of time, because I'll be doing lots of vetoes, just so don't worry too much, they will turn America into Venezuela. How's that working out? And our country will never be Venezuela. We won't let that happen. If Democrats get 51 seats, the key Senate committees will be run by the far left. Bernie Sanders, crazy Bernie. It's amazing that he wasn't more angry that the election got stolen from him. I don't think. You know, he's always like complaining. He's jumping around. The hair's going crazy. The hair's going crazy. He's jumping and like a lunatic. But he never complained about the fact that crooked Hillary cheated him out of the election. It's amazing. It's amazing. You know, Bernie was on television recently, and he was screaming and ranting and raving. But Bernie Sanders was ranting and raving, and we're going to this, and Trump, and we got to stop. What's he going to stop? Having a strong military, having low taxes, having borders? What's he going to stop? What am I doing? What's he going to stop? Having less regulation? But he's going to stop Trump. He's going to stop Trump. He's going to stop us left and right. He's ranting and raving. And the commentator looks at him and goes, you know he's winning, don't you? And Bernie just looked at him like this. It was like, but I said to my brother, you got to hand it to him. You know, he's out there. He's doing his thing, whether you like it or not. He's out there doing his thing, and you got to hand it to him. But a guy like Bernie would be in charge of the budget committee. Patrick Leahy, oh, he's never had a drink in his life. Check it out. Look under Patrick Leahy /drink. How dare you have a beer while you're in high school? How dare. Patrick Leahy /drink will be in charge of the appropriations. Bob Menendez, you don't know about him, will be in charge. I'll leave him alone, because we can't cover too many of these characters. But I'm going to leave him alone. Will be in charge of foreign affairs. And the great Dianne Feinstein will be in charge of the Judiciary Committee. No. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that great? Wasn't that something the other day? She was asked a simple question. Did you leak the document? Wasn't that great? By John Cornyn. He goes, you leaked the document. No. What? No. Remember? No. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I don't think I... Well, wait. Did we leak the document? No! How about the aid? No, you idiot, no! No, we didn't leak the document. We didn't leak the document. No, we didn't. That was the worst body language that I've ever seen. Ah, what a group. What a group. Holier than thou, aren't they? Holier than thou. You know the expression, right? What a group. We're doing well. We'll take it from China. We'll take it from the European Union, who has taken advantage of us for years. We'll take it from Japan. We'll take it from our new, beautiful transaction, which is a fair transaction, and good for them too. Mexico, Canada. We're going to have plenty of money coming in, folks, when we fix up these horrible trade deals. So we're going to take care of pre-existing conditions. People that have a problem are going to be helped by the Republican Party from the time I got elected, really. The new platform of the Democrat Party is to abolish ICE, the brave, brave people of ICE. In other words, they want to abolish immigration enforcement entirely. That's what they want to do. Democrats also support strongly sanctuary cities of death. Sanctuary cities. Every day, sanctuary cities are unleashing vicious predators and bloodthirsty killers like MS-13 into our communities. They go out and they hide out in sanctuary cities. Then they come into our cities and our towns. And then we send ICE in, and ICE says, no problem. You know why? Because ICE is much tougher and much smarter than them. And ICE has done an incredible job. And they grab them by the neck and they throw them the hell out of our country, or they throw them into jail. We're setting records on the border on arrests. We don't want to do that. We're building the wall. It's going up. But getting money, it is brutal. Brutal. So we've started the wall, and we've done a lot in California and elsewhere, San Diego. We're moving eastward, and we're covering a lot of territory. They gave us $1.6 billion, $1.6 billion, and another $1.6 billion. I want the whole thing because we can do the whole damn wall, and we can do a great one in 1 year. We have the dumbest immigration laws in the whole world. Watch what happens over the next couple of weeks, folks. Watch. But they stop you. The only thing they're good at, they're lousy politicians. They're horrible in policy. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're only good at one thing. Resisting. They're good at sticking together. You rarely see them break up. They stick. Like glue, they stick. That's the only thing they're good at. Delay and resist. Republicans believe America should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans, not for criminal aliens. They're going to take your wealth away from you. They're going to take your wealth away. All of that we've done with the jobs and the salaries and the wages that are rising for the first time in 21 years. They're going to take it away from you so fast. Since the election, we have created over 4 million new jobs, unheard of, and lifted almost 4 million Americans off of food stamps. That's a big thing. We've added nearly 600,000 new manufacturing jobs. You remember when the previous administration said, oh, you can't do manufacturing. I said, really? Who's going to build things? They said you won't add any. They said you needed a magic wand. Remember? A magic wand. We don't have a magic wand. We've got good policy. We've got good leadership. We have a lot of good leaders in our party. And you've heard this many times over the last 3 weeks. African-American unemployment has reached its lowest rate ever recorded. Ever. Ever. Remember, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose, right? What do you have to lose, I said. And people said, oh, that's not nice. But I said, wait, they have the worst crime rate. They have the worst schools. They have the worst home ownership percentages. They have the worst. I went through a list of 10 different things. And I looked up, and they've always voted for Democrats, the African Americans, in 95% more. And I looked up and I said, what the hell do you have to lose, remember? And now, not only do they have the lowest unemployment rate in history, but African American poverty has reached its lowest rate also ever recorded. It's a great thing, right? So, and we've just started. We've just started. Remember, same true for Hispanic Americans. The lowest unemployment rate ever recorded. Same for Asian Americans. Lowest unemployment rate ever recorded. Women, lowest unemployment rate in 65 years. After years and years of working so hard, we finally put ourselves in a position where we can do things, and we can really do them. But we could do them an awfully lot better if we had more, a real majority, not a majority of one, not a majority of, literally, if somebody's sick, it's like we have to postpone votes. We need a real majority, and we're going to do everything that you've been looking for a long time. Now, with that being said, we've done so much. We've done so much. We've just finalized the tremendous new trade agreement with South Korea, where it was a disaster. That was a Hillary Clinton catastrophe. Remember, she said, we are going to create 250,000 new jobs. And she was right for South Korea. It was good. And we've just totally renegotiated it. We've made it good. And we've opened up new negotiations with Japan, who would not negotiate with the previous administration. You know why? Because they said, no, we're happy. Why should we negotiate? We're not going to negotiate. Well, we said we want to negotiate. And with the European Union, we want to negotiate. And they said, I love you too. You're not my type, but I love you. That was a strong guy, by the way, because if that was a woman, I'm in big trouble. And you know what? I hope you're a guy, huh? So, the European Union and Japan, I said, listen, we lost 151 billion with a B with you. We lost 151 billion. Jean-Claude, he's the head of the Union, the European Union. I said, Jean-Claude, he's tough and smart, really tough. I don't think he likes that country too much, but I've told him that many times. Well, they were formed, right? They were formed in order to take advantage of it. So Jean-Claude, for years the Obama administration wanted to negotiate, and you said, no, we're not going to negotiate. I'm telling you, I want to negotiate. We lost $151 billion with the European Union. Many of us come from the European Union. I do. Many of the people in the room sound so nice, European Union. And they're just killing us. So I said, we have to negotiate. Oh, yes. 2 weeks go by, we don't get a call. I call him up again and say, Jean-Claude, we got to negotiate. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Beautiful accent. I wish I had his accent. I would have been president 15 years ago if I had his accent. And I said, Jean-Claude, please, we got to negotiate. I can't take this. 151 billion we lose. You have barriers against our farmers. We can't sell farm products. You have barriers against our cars. And yet you give us millions of Mercedes and BMW and all these cars that pour into our country. You have barriers. And you charge us big tariffs for products. And you make it impossible for us to give you, but you sell us so much. Jean-Claude, we have to negotiate. And he said, oh, yes. 2 weeks go by. No negotiation. I say, Jean-Claude, you don't have to negotiate anymore, Jean-Claude. I am going to put a 25% tariff on Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and every car you send in to the United States. We're putting a 25% tariff or tax on every car, millions and millions of cars, that you send into the United States. He said, no, don't, please, I will be there tomorrow morning. This was an evening. I get to my office, he's there. I said, where did you come from, New York? No. I came from Europe. I said, let me know the name of that plane. That is the fastest plane. And now they're dying to make a deal. You saw what's been going on with these things. China! They're draining us. They're taking our money. They're rebuilding themselves. They're building a jet a day. They're building many, many bridges the size and bigger than like the George Washington Bridge. What are we doing? We're helping them. We've rebuilt China. They're taking so much money. I like President Xi, the head of China. But I said, we can't do this anymore. So now we put $50 billion of tariffs on. And they said, They said, no, 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 you cannot do that. If you go 50, we'll go 50. I said, wait a minute. We're already 500 billion behind. So if I go 50, you go 50, that means we're at the same place we started from. That's not what this is all about. We have to bring some balance. We can't do this. So they said no. So it was 50 and 10%. I increased it to 25%. And I put 200 billion on top of the 50. So now we have $250 billion at 25%. By the way, billions and billions of dollars. The fake news people back there, all those people with all those red lights, they don't want to talk about it. But all of that money, billions of dollars, will be flowing into our treasury. Many of the products that we're buying over there will be made in the United States because they don't want to pay the tax, and there's no tax. And I said, if you attack our farmers, who I love, especially, see who's got the green hat on? Make our farmers great again. Right? Make our farmers great again. But they said, you know what? The farmers love Trump. We'll attack the farmers by not buying. Well, guess what? They're starting to buy again, aren't they? But I said, if you do that, we're going to put an additional $267 billion on to your numbers. So we're going to have 500, and probably it'll end up $562 billion when you add it all up, including the little stars all over the place. And you know what? They want to talk. They want to make a deal. And China's been hurt very badly over the last number of months. Their markets are down 30%, and our markets are up 55% since I became president. And I hope we can make a deal with China, but honestly, who knows? But we're very happy where we are. Very, very happy. And I want to thank the farmers, because, you know, I watch the farmers. And they say, and don't forget, the farmers have been going down like this for 20 years, long before I got here. We're going to bring those green caps. You're going to be so proud of me. Okay? You're going to be so proud. They want to talk, and at some point they're talking. But I told them just recently, you're not ready to talk yet. You're not ready. In all fairness, they've been making so much money, it's hard for them to say they're making $500 billion a year because we had, no, let's be nice, we had presidents that it wasn't their thing. But it is my thing. Do you know how wealthy our country would be if they didn't have these really stupid deals all over the place? So many of them. And how about our military deals where we protect rich nations and we don't get reimbursed? How about that stuff? That's changing too, folks. We're protecting you. You might not be there for 2 weeks without us. You have to pay for your military. You have to pay. And Japan is going to also contribute. Now, Japan, we protect Japan. They pay us a small percentage. We protect South Korea. They pay us. And by the way, we're doing great on North Korea, but South Korea, they got to reimburse us. They got to reimburse us. Republicans passed, and I signed the biggest package of tax cuts and reform in the history of our country. We have cut a record number of regulations. Now, we got no Democrat support for any of this. This is what's driving our economy, those two things. We have approved a record number of affordable, generic drugs. Watch what's going to happen to drug prices. And to help critically ill patients get access to life-saving treatments, we pass what's called right to try. A person's terminally ill. They're going to die. And before me, if we had a drug that was really looking good or promising, we wouldn't give them because we didn't want to hurt the person. They're going to die. And it is actually much more complicated than that. They've been trying to pass these for 45 years. Well, 2 months ago, I signed Right to Try. We have the greatest drugs in the world, the greatest drug makers in the world. I just signed legislation to completely rebuild our military, securing $700 billion, and then the following year, $716 billion to purchase the finest planes and ships and tanks and missiles and submarines on the face of the earth. All made in America, made in the USA. And we have given our troops their largest pay raise in more than a decade. Isn't that nice? About time. At my direction, the Pentagon is now working very hard to create the sixth branch of the American Armed Forces. It's called the Space Force. So you have the Air Force, you have the Space Force. Separate. The Space Force. And that's what it's all about, folks. You look at what's happening. I'm not just talking rockets to the moon and to Mars. I'm talking about defense. I'm talking about, that's where it is. It's in space. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, right? Space Force. I withdrew the United States from the horrible, one-sided Iran nuclear deal. And Iran is a much different country. They're trying to put out all the riots they have all over that country. You know, when I became president, I looked there, before I became, I said, how are you stopping Iran? Nobody was able to tell me. And I did this, and they have shattered, man. They have shattered. I got rid of that deal. How about we gave them $150 billion for nothing? We gave them $1.8 billion in cash for nothing. And we've recognized the capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And the fake news comes out and says, he's giving so much. I haven't given anything. We got our hostages back, right? We've got a lot, and we're getting the remains of our great fallen heroes back. There's been no rockets launched. There's been no missiles launched. There's been no nuclear tests. And we have a good relationship. And Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is going over to North Korea next week. And we're working on a second summit, and it just feels good. Now, who knows, folks? Who knows? I can just tell you, when we came in, before I came in, and at the beginning when the rhetoric was tough, right? That rhetoric was tough. These people were saying, oh, he's going to get us into a war. Well, guess what? That worked out. That rhetoric was tough. And let's see what happens, but we're doing very well. A lot of spirit. A lot of spirit. One of them said the other day, you know, President Trump can't be beaten in 2020. That's driving them crazy. Oh. Who the hell's going to beat us? Look, who's going to beat us? If another president came in and he said, we're coming to Mississippi and we're going to make a speech, you know how many people would show up? Good. 300, 400. You'd have a medium-sized meeting room at a hotel. Look at this place. Look at this. Look at this place. Just like the pioneers and patriots who came before us, we are going to work, we are going to fight, and we are going to win, win, win. We will not bend. We will not break. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down. We will never surrender. And we will always fight on to victory. Because we are American. And our hearts bleed red, white, and blue. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. and we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Mississippi. Get out and vote. Thank you. It's not up to the media or the pundits to decide your fate.